Good morning. Well, it's currently the middle of January and I'm working down at Conwy Water Gardens today. So I'm up on the top lake. You may have seen this before because I have done some work up here, mainly cutting some dangerous trees down. So when I've done that, I have put everything I can through my shredder. The problem is you always end up with some big logs like this that won't fit through. And at the moment I've been stacking them up here and the owners decided that looks messy, we need to get rid of it. Now I've got two options. Option one is I get the lawnmower out, I cut those up into manageable sized pieces and I drag them all the way to the other side of the site where I've got bonfire pile and I can burn them over there. But I'm thinking there's quite a pile here. There's also this tree, that tree and that tree that have all fallen over winter, and this tree is incredibly dead, so I'm thinking I'll have a bonfire here. So my plan was, we've got a hole down here. I've had a bonfire in that before. I'd had the fire in that. Unfortunately it is full of water, but down here is perfectly safe. Everything is incredibly wet today because we've had rain this morning, so it's going to be a challenge to light this fire, but that's the plan. I'm going to cut this lot up, drag it down there and set fire to it down there. So yeah, let's start tidying. Right, well I think that's enough to get going with, and being pine that should burn relatively easily, so I'm going to set the fire up down here. Now walking the stuff up and down here is a little bit difficult because this is basically a big compost heap that I've built here, and there are some bigger branches at the bottom, so as you walk over it you can hear it all cracking. In a few places I have disappeared up to my knee where the branches have snapped and you've just gone through, but as I walk over it, it does seem to be compacting down. And I'm thinking once I've got the fire going, I'll actually drag some of that over and put it on the fire. But I'm planning on having the fire here, and I'm going to try using my homemade fire lighter. Now I'm hoping this will work. Basically it is an egg box that I've put candle wax in, and yeah, we'll see how well that works. Right, well that's the fire going, so before I do any more up here, I want to get rid of some of this pile down here, so I don't want that fire to spread into this. To be honest, I don't think it's going to go far. Most of this is wood chip up here, and it's so saturated, I don't think it's going to burn, but the stuff just on that front edge there might, so we'll see if we can get rid of some of that. Right, well I think that's the worst of it on the fire now. Everything that's left here is either completely saturated or it's just breaking down as you walk on it. So as I walk on it, it's going to take all the air out of there. It's going to make it a lot harder for it to light. So I'm thinking that'll be absolutely fine. So now to get some of the big logs from up there, I think, and start building a proper fire. Right, well that's not bad. An hour and a half in, I've cut the top off of that, burnt all this pile, so it's only a couple of stragglers here and these big bits to go on, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to leave this fire to burn down. Now, it's a bit irritating because you'd think with all those logs on there it'd be a raging fire, loads of heat, and it'll burn through in no time. But actually it's giving off very little heat, so I'm sure in the centre of that is very hot. But you might have seen, I don't know how good the camera is, but I was standing right up here. I mean, you should be getting hot if you're this close to the fire, and it's not that hot. So yeah, but that is burning well. If any of the logs rolled out, I mean, they're going to go into the water or into the water. So yeah, this should be perfectly fine. I'm going to go and have some lunch. I'll bring my lunch down here. I will sit and watch the fire with my lunch, and then after lunch, I shall carry on and get rid of that pine tree, I think. Right, well I'm back from lunch and the fire's burning down nicely, so I'm going to turn my attention to the trees here. Now, I look around this section, there is so many dead trees here that I could spend hours clearing this lot, but I'm thinking the owner won't like that because he'll come in and go, oh, it looks far too open, despite the fact that I've just taken dead stuff out. But I'm going to concentrate mainly on this pine tree because obviously that has fallen, and then once that's down I'll assess what's happening over there. There's a silver birch there covered in ivy that I think is healthy. We've got a mountain ash there, again I think it's healthy, but that's been pushed over by the pine tree. And then there's another mountain ash there that's really struggling, but I think it's alive. That one's dead, and that's a willow that's just looking awful. So, yeah, let's start with the pine and see how we get on. Well, that's a new one on me. I actually had the chain snap. I've had chains fall off before, and I've had teeth break off, but I've never actually had the chain itself snap in two. So, yeah, I'm going to go and see if I've got a spare chain somewhere in the shed, because that ain't much help now. Okay, I've put another old chain on, so let's try again. Well, that chain wasn't as sharp as I would have liked, but it got the job done, so I'm now going to load all this lot onto the fire. Right, well that's pretty much everything on the fire now, so I'm going to turn the camera off and just sit and keep an eye on this. I'll probably tidy up some of the branches that are falling down here as well, just to keep myself occupied. But yeah, I'll pick this up again once I'm finished, so see you in a bit. Right, well that's me done. I've only done 4 hours today, but to be honest that was an intensive 4 hours, so I think I've done quite enough. But yeah, I've managed to get rid of all the logs that were piled up here. I've got them down and burnt on the pile. I've got the pine tree that's fallen over, I've got that down and burnt on the pile as well. The fire itself, I've been keeping an eye on it for the last half hour, and to be honest, it's not really doing a lot. It's sitting there like that, so it's gone past the stage when we're going to have flying embers coming off of it, so it's not really dangerous. The biggest risk with a fire like this now is that a log might roll out of it. Well, it's surrounded by water. If a log rolls out of that, it's going out. It's going straight in a puddle. So I'm quite happy to walk away and leave that. I'll let the owner know. He has been down and seen it, but I don't know if he'll come down in the morning and just pile anything that hasn't burnt back up again. But if he doesn't, I can leave it like that and then later in the year just push it into the hole. So yeah, I think that's me done here. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you left it a like, and I shall see you later.